Chicagoan Tanika Johnson is using photography to educate people about the disparities she's noticed within neighborhoods throughout the city. The Folded Map Project looks at gentrification and segregation with the help of side-by-side photos of two different neighborhoods with the same address on opposite ends of Chicago. Arts correspondent Angel Edo takes us on a tour around the city to see the impact of the project firsthand.
Tanika Johnson wants to change misconceptions about certain neighborhoods in Chicago. So she created the Folded Map Project.
Folded Map is a visual investigation of disparity and inequity in Chicago using its mapping system. So I have photographed addresses that are similar on the same streets, like 6720 North Ashland and 6720 South Ashland, and compared them. When people look at those photos, they're able to see the difference in the sidewalks, the landscape, sometimes even just the streets themselves, and the maintenance of the buildings.
Johnson's project started with just that, photos. Soon, those photos turned into conversations. She began reaching out to what she refers to as map twins.
The first iteration of Folded Map just focused on the north and south side, specifically the neighborhoods that if you were to fold Chicago's map at its 0 point would touch Inglewood. And so Inglewood was the south side neighborhood that I focused on because it's so large, which a lot of people don't know. It's like the third largest neighborhood in Chicago.
And just like that, her first set of map twins were born. Inglewood resident Carmen Arnold Stratton quickly realized the city offers more than her neighborhood when Rogers Park resident Bridget O'Shaughnessy was describing her home.
When she said that her neighborhood was a global mecca, I was like, oh, okay, I need to venture out more and not have that stigma of my neighbors that I grew up with. Oh, we're not going there.
The pair say their relationship has only grown since meeting.
We have to show up for each other. And I feel like, yes, there was the first moment when Carmen and I met, and that was a meaningful day. But to me, it's like, how else can I invest in her as a person? Because I think the more we know each other, the more we care. And the more we care, the more we're willing to fight for each other.
Johnson says this developed empathy is one of the many goals of the project. That's why she's housed an exhibit highlighting her research at a local Inglewood shop, Inglewood Branded.
The current exhibit at Inglewood Branded really I would say, is the first example of it making a specific local difference, because people have been coming to Inglewood Branded store that have never visited Inglewood, white and black and Latino and Asian.
The Folded Map Project includes more than 10 sets of map and address twins depicted through both videos and photos. I had a chance to sit down with a second iteration of map twins, these two from the city's north and west sides. Johnson says they're the first pair to really talk about gentrification in the city.
I realized when she said that gentrification isn't the only process here that causes people to live separately and in a segregated way, but sort of happening as a result of economics more than anything.
After visiting Joe Bristol's home in Logan Square, Garfield Park resident Q Bila said he realized he had more control over the changes within his neighborhood than he realized.
It made me want to just look more into real estate and investigate and see if that's something that I want to do and, can do financially. It's not necessarily about like being pushed out or, white people coming to take over the neighborhood. You gotta kind of take initiative yourself to learn and educate yourself about what's going on, and then maybe if you want a piece of your neighborhood, you can buy it.
As Johnson continues to publicize the Folded Map Project, she says she's grateful for not only the relationships that have developed, but the necessary conversations they've started.
Also, for the public to have an example of what those conversations could look like and how answering some basic questions really helps you understand not only how to connect to someone else, but really provide you a deeper understanding about our city and how people experience it different based on where they live.
For Chicago Tonight, I'm Angel Edo.
Johnson's exhibit of the folded map project at Inglewood Branded has since come to a close, but the conversations are continuing. Her next folded map exhibit will be on display at Woman Made Gallery in Pilsen in June.
All right, as always, there's a method to the madness, so stick with me. I promised an easy week. It will be, all right? We're going to put off some of that argumentative essay stuff until January, so let's finish strong. Taking a look a little bit at data, and so that was a little PBS special just to follow up from the Folded Map Project and Denise Lewis Johnson's work that she did up there in Chicago. And we will take a look at her website today, her photography website, see how she's affected a lot of people. And so, you know, this is a great thing. So we want to keep that going. All right, so how'd you do yesterday? Were you able to find your folded map twins? All right, here's a little way I would have. Okay, so I'm opening up Google Maps and I'm just going to find my location in my home. And I'm going to, after I find my location, right click and go to measure distance. And I can draw a line between 2 points. So I'm going to open up this little sidebar here just to draw a nice straight line. Now the interesting thing is Broward County line actually starts on the south side of the waterway. So I'm going to try to draw a nice straight line here between my home and Broward County and get it just to line up as good as possible. Excuse my clickiness here. And it looks like it's right at 2.04 miles. So that's great. I know my distance to Broward County, but that's not going to tell me who my folded map twin is. Again, I'm no math expert, but 2.04 miles, I would need to double that because that is the point right there where I would fold my map. And so I'm going to drag this over. Let me get this off to the side here and look for 4.09. When you're zoomed out like this, it's really sensitive. So that is going to be my map twin. So when I zoom in at this particular home, it looks like I can even go into the satellite view and wow, they got a nice little waterway home there, looks like in the Lighthouse Point area. And you could probably find out so much more about a stranger than you should ever really know through the miracle of Google. But all right, so let me just take the measurements off here and just go ahead and click on some of the information. And that's my address, and I even have a little nice street view of it, and I could probably, like I said, learn more about this person than I need to know. So that's how I would do my folded map twin for Broward County. Now, there's a couple different ways you can certainly do it for Palm Beach County, and so one way, there's a nice house. All right, one way that you could do it, personally, since I'm so just 2 miles away from the Broward County line, I would go up to the top of Palm Beach County and try the same thing, measure who is in at my point from 2.04 miles from south of the northern Palm Beach County line. All right, so just a little interesting thing. If you don't have your address, please make sure of your folded map twins. Make sure to have them in. You're going to need those for a project that we're going to do later today. I'll go easy on you. We'll do it tomorrow. Wasn't going to be like creepy and drive up to that person's house and say, hey, I'm your folded map twin, because I'd probably be in jail right now. So, but that doesn't mean that you can't do some research and find out some information. So now that you know, hopefully, your folded map twins, you're going to do a little bit of research today, some demographic research. And so this, again, is inspired by Tanika Johnson. Let's go ahead and take a look at her website, and we'll take it from there. All right, so while I'm going to give you guys an extra day to get the data for your folded map twin, we are going to continue with looking at the folded map project. Really, with your folded map twin, you want to get the closest possible residence, whether it be condo, apartment, house, more so than a business or middle of the intercoastal or anything like that. But again, this started with just a photography project to investigate into, urban segregation in Chicago, and then it grew into really, I think, a great humanitarian movement and project. So I'll apologize in advance for some of the sound here, because I'm just going to be recording off my microphone. But I do want to watch a couple of the videos with you. And so this started July of this year, and which reads the first participants, the Block twins, and here's what happened with them.
It's a concept that's been building for about 3 years. It started with Tanika Johnson's Folded Map project. My wife Jennifer and I were the first Northside map twins with our neighbor Nanette here on the 6100 block of South Bishop. And we've kept up the relationship for the last 3 years, and we've talked about, what we can do to build on it in order to close the gaps between the neighborhoods in Chicago with regard to social justice, economic equity, and what have you.
We started talking about putting a group together and somewhat modeling after Tanika's folded map. We decided that we wanted to do like block twins. We just want change on our block. We want to matter on our block. We're gonna plant flower boxes at the corner, entering into the 6100 block on Bishop. Some of the elderly neighbors want flowers in front of their house, so we're gonna dig up and put flowers in front of their houses. And we just coming together as a community from the north side and the community from the south side to bring one community together.
We're doing a beautification project just to get people from the north side and the south side together, working together to help beautify the block where the residents of this block want it to be beautified.
My hope is that we'll have broader conversations about how we can support one another, think about why our blocks are similar and different, and what are the systemic issues that might drive that difference.
I'm so excited to see people from all walks of life and different neighborhoods come together to improve the block and make it a beautiful space.
To see it happening and to be a part of it happening in a place that I grew up in and a place that my aunt has lived for years is a beautiful thing.
Sadie planted 2 planters she made a new friend. What's her name again? Justice?
Yeah.
Justice, how old is she?
10.
And how old are you?
9.
Yeah.
This is community. Anytime we can get together, meet new people, meet neighbors, make new friends, have a good time in safety, you can't get past it.
And I just believe if people give it a chance, everybody can have it. You just have to give it a chance.
Alright, so that is the block twins. We've seen some of these other folded map twins before in some of the videos we watched as we first started this little project. Alright, and the homes that each other live in. And so that's one of the big things, alright? What are these differences? Okay, there we have North Ashland Street and then South Ashland Street. So what are the differences on Ashland Avenue? Alright, so we can see we have a little question there. What differences do you notice between the intersections 6900 South Ashland and 6900 North Ashland? So think about those things as we get closer and closer to our exit slip question for today. I'll go ahead and pause that. Just so that we make sure we're taking everything into account. There are a couple more videos that I'll run through before we get to that exit slip. Again, some people we've seen as early as in today's intro video. Alright, and what was it like meeting your map twin?
For me, we look different,
but we want the same things. We live different places, but we want the same thing. So it gives me a validation that everybody want the same thing. Most people want the same thing, although we're on different sides of the track.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I really enjoyed when you came to our house, but this is by far way more important to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew I liked you immediately the minute you opened your door. But it's true. I feel like we've shared so many similarities as we've sat here, you know, of wanting the same thing. I'm grateful because you created an opportunity to just deepen that sense of care for other people.
And hopefully the project will not just be there. Hopefully someone will see the project and want it to branch out to other areas. Yeah. Yes.
Is there anything else you all want to add? I mean, you all just met each other for the first time.
We're friends now.
Exactly.
We're friends. We're gonna hang out.
I can't wait.
All right. So that kind of leads us closer and closer to that exit slip question. We'll just see a few more people. These are people from 6400 North Hermitage Street. And here is Maurice Perkins, 6500 South Hermitage Street. His parents still live in that house. Okay, so what's missing in your neighborhood? Let's check it out.
I wouldn't mind seeing a theater, a bowling alley, maybe some type of center for the youth to kind of go hang out at, or have some things to do when they get out of school, or to be able to be exposed to different artistic options to just kind of give them something to do. Aside kind of like hanging outside and finding different ways or getting into trouble. Or those trouble even being an option, because if you have nothing to do, of course, it's like there's trouble waiting right over there. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are we?
Yeah, a lot of our needs are met here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could think of something, but yeah.
Okay, so a little bit of the haves and have-nots here. Okay, and here's just a continuation of that last one.
Yeah. Well, you know, on coming down on
Alright, so you can see a lot of areas on the south side, and that they seem to probably be a lot different from what some people on the north side of Chicago. Alright, so we don't need to go into the map artist talk. I'm more into the humanitarian efforts here, and so that is really where we're going with this. And so we'll talk a little bit more about this tomorrow, but let's go ahead and go live and jump into our exit slip question.